Dr. Barry, Lundove News. Well, they say Rome was not built in a day, and this common law court of ours here in Melbourne, which is, of course, is attached to the UK, was not built in a day. It took a long time. We've been involved in this, Anne and myself, originally from 2000, late 19. And of course, we had lockdowns, shutouts, and a lot of disappointments along the way. We struggled to get enough people for a court case, let alone a jury or grand jury, whoever the case may be. But on the 24th of November this year, just gone, we had a large crowd turn up in a great venue, and we had two very important court cases which changed the course of history. Both of these two men were indicted by the grand jury. And of course, a grand jury makes the decision whether there's a case to answer or not. And in this case, there was. So our wonderful, well-known Daniel Andrews and Brett Sutton went before a jury of their peers on Wednesday, the 24th of November, 2021. Remember that date. Both were convicted. I will show you a little bit of the paperwork, not much, because we're really bound by rules and regulations. So we can show you a little bit. The jury, when they went out to a different room to adjudicate and to make a decision on penalties and sentence, they took quite a bit of time in some cases because this was a very, very serious case. These two characters have damaged the lives of a lot of people. And when I say people, yes, the people fought back. The common law court is run by men and women, the people, not factories, not corporations, but by men and women. The people of this state had enough, and they says, we're fighting back. And it's happening all over the place. In the UK, Ireland, there's lots of, and of course, America, all the sheriffs and stuff are all basically common law. Common law is the law of the land. And wherever you hear that term, the law of the land, they're talking about common law, God's law, any law you like to call it, but it's only deals with the living, men and women, and not fiction or statute laws. It's got nothing to do. Our rules are basic. It goes back to the records were kept in 1066. Common law has changed and will continue to change the course of history again, as it was left behind because money was poured into the other systems and a common law failed, went down and just got forgotten because of the enormous amount of paperwork, which we still have. And I can assure you, I had all day putting this together to send to the UK. Our paperwork goes over to the UK, and then John over there sends it over to The Hague. Now, the charges with Sutton and Andrews were very serious charges. Genocide was added into it. The jury agreed there was a case to answer, they were guilty of these crimes. So it's a very serious case. What happens now in relation to the fact we've got these two cases completed, paperwork is done, well, it has to be published. And once this paperwork is published, the results of the case are published on this channel, on our YouTube channel, which you can see up the top there, and anybody else publishes, it becomes law. And that is the fact. It becomes law. The guilty parties, well, don't ask me what we're going to do with them. It's going to have to be up to The Hague if they wanted to get involved. But you have to remember when Reverend Kevin Arnott took the Pope, that was Pope Benedict. His name before that was Cardinal Ratzinger. We took him to court. He didn't expect anything. And then Spain picked up on the fact that we had a Pope that was convicted in a common law court. They gave the Catholic Church X amount of time in Spain to remove that Pope, or they would take liens on their property. So we're looking for somebody to pick up on these charges, the media, somebody else that will help us out, because we're a small group. We're pretty big at the moment, but we're small in the eyes of the world. We need help, and we need financial help, because this cannot go on. These criminals, which all politicians to a certain degree are criminals because they all know the Constitution has been removed, the Queen's been removed, and then we hear some of the people on Sky News, which I really admire because they're trying. They say Section 109 of the Constitution, let's bring it up. But nobody will come out and say that the Constitution is suspended because we're dealing with private companies. Victoria's are private companies. If you look at the people running these private companies, Labour, wherever the Labour Party is, you might as well have Joe Biden. It's just a wreck. And it's getting destroyed and it's getting worse. And it's up to the people, which have made a stand already. Let's make a bigger stand and let's keep on making stands. We got 15 more people who have been indicted by a grand jury. Well, we won't be going after all of them, but there's a few we will. Now, my next project is, and I need your help again, is people who have lost their work, lost their jobs, nurses, doctors, printers, ordinary people who've had to give up their living on principle or the fact that they may be scared of getting receiving the consequences of having one of these injections. Now, I'm not anti-vax, but some people are scared of it. Some people don't want to do it, and some people have principles. You shouldn't lose your job over that. And if 90% of the people are vaccinated, I can't see why they give a stuff about the other 10% because they're all old people like me, or they're dying off, or whatever the case may be, you know. But you just can't destroy someone's life and say that's okay. It may be legal, but it's certainly not lawful. So we did put some paperwork together on the last video, and I want to pursue these people who've just dumped their staff. It was easier to get somebody else, and that's not on. So the common law court will, with the help of its people, stand by these people who are in trouble. This is the people versus Daniel Andrews. Now, if you can see here, Daniel Andrews, the living man, was indicted by a grand jury on the 3rd of July this year. So he went to the court on the 24th of November here in Melbourne. There was a large crowd of people turned up, which was fantastic. And he was found guilty by his peers, 12 jurors. So there's quite a number of pages you can see. So we'll go straight to the bottom one where we can see where it was signed by the jury itself. Now here's Brett Sutton's court orders. In Parkdale, it was done on the 24th, a different jury, obviously, 2 juries, the same staff. And on the 24th of November, he was convicted by a jury of his peers. He also was indicted by a grand jury on the 3rd of July. Now, Daniel Andrews got a different reception, as you can see. People versus Daniel Andrews. Is he guilty of all the fraud, uttering, contributing possible genocide? Yes, they said. Let's just go have a look at their recommendations. Right. Now, they really spent some time doing this. We thought they'd never come back. Okay, have a look, read it yourselves. Stripped of all assets and so on. I'll just, on the 24th, the same day, the jury's decision, Brett Sutton, as you can see, abusive position, criminal, uttering fraud, all the major crimes, treason, contributing possibly to genocide, yes. And let's look at the back and come along and see what these guys, the jury, want done with Brett Sutton. Right, he's guilty, yes. And this is their footnote, which they put to the court case, right? Solitary confinement, stripped of all assets. Said you read yourself. I do not want to disturb you. Now that we've started, we've got the ball rolling. Let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the pressure on. As more people turn up to gatherings, so we can form a big jury like we did the last time. We had to walk around with a box and people picked numbers out, and we had a lot of blank numbers in there. So we eventually got a 12-man jury. It was good. It was really good to have such a good crowd of people and enthusiastic as well. So let's keep that pressure up. Let's help the people who are in trouble, who are losing their homes, who are losing their jobs. Get these politicians. There's a few good politicians coming up together now in the Liberal Democrats. Kelly, I'm sorry if I forget your name, the Hanson. I must admit they're doing something, because the two major parties, the preferred by whom, I'd love to know. They're really had it. Labour destroyed this country. The Liberals used to be good. When Tony Abbott was in, it was a bit better, but Tony upset them by getting rid of a lot of spruikers out of the place. But anyway, common law court is up and running. Let's get it everywhere. I will help anybody get this court case off, or their common law court cases up and running, provided you stick to the rules that are run by the UK. The wheel's already been invented. There is no reinventing the wheel. It still goes around. Let's stick to it. Anyway, I'm going to sign off now, because I don't want to talk too much. Get yourself an ID, which is good. Refrain from being a person. Forget that word. That is bad news. The statute law only deal with the dead, and if you want to remain dead, well, that's up to you. So get yourself a common law ID card, which we have here. You can get them on our address. Anyway, Lundove News sign off. This is a rush job. I've been at this all day. It's now 10 to 10 at night. So I'm getting too old for this. Anyway, thanks, guys. And I thank you all for your support. We swore in 3 deputy sheriffs last night, and their paperwork was signed by their jury of their peers, which made it lawful. So we've got now lawful 3 common law court deputy sheriffs, and that is fantastic. Congratulations, guys. Let's see you all next week or the week after. Bye for now.